Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Vlogmas. So my original plan for today's vlog was going to be decorating my destination tree. Some of you guys may remember that on layovers sometimes I will buy ornaments related to things that I did on a layover to put on my destination tree. But when I went yesterday up in the attic to go get my tree, it had already been taken down and my sister took it to school. So she thinks that she has two trees somewhere. So if we can ever find her other tree, because she's gonna put her one in her room, but if we find the second one with her first one, then I will take that one and then I will do that vlog. Otherwise, I don't know if I'll do it because I don't think I'm gonna buy a tree because they're kind of expensive and I just don't know if I want to do that. The dogs are really wound up right now because they've been cooped up in my room literally all day. We just got new countertops put in yesterday, and so we had somebody come by today to fix the plumbing with our sink. So we finally have countertops and a sink, which is really nice, even though I haven't been able to be downstairs to use it yet. And then we got new floors like a week and a half ago, so someone is here now painting trim from where we got the new floors. So the dogs have just been cooped in my bedroom all day and they're over it. I'm over it, but here we are because there's paint everywhere, and Ozzy not so much, but Silo would be everywhere he's not supposed to be and he would make a mess. So yeah, they are tired of being cooped up, so they're probably gonna be, well, this one for sure will probably be on this video today, but that's okay. So since I can't do my destination tree, I figured I would just do another flight attendant lingo video because that's the easiest thing to do right now in our current situation. Isn't that right? So let's jump right in. Okay. Alrighty, our first word is a turn, which a lot of times out of Charlotte when we have 3-leg days, what we usually do is a turn to start our day and then end up somewhere else. So a turn is when you start at an airport. We'll use Charlotte since I'm based there. You start in Charlotte, you go to another airport, let's say Dallas, and then you turn right around and go right back to Charlotte. So you end where you started. It's quick and easy. All of our one-day trips are turns. So they can be 2 legs, 3 legs, or 4 legs. We have a lot of 4-leg turns. Okay, it's okay. We have a lot of 4-leg turns out of Charlotte where you just do 2 turns basically stacked on top of each other. And a lot of times you're gonna be sitting in Charlotte for a couple hours in between both of those turns. I just realized I said turn so many times. Take a shot every time you hear me say turn. Actually, don't do that. Take a drink. Okay. Sheesh. But yeah, if I ever had a 3-leg turn, that would be like, we would go Charlotte to Dallas, Dallas to Miami, Miami back to Charlotte. That would be like a 3-leg turn. And I would specify if I ever had more than 1-leg turn. But yeah, so if you ever hear me say, we're doing a, insert airport here, turn, and then gonna end up here, that just means we are going up and down and then, or going back and forth and then going on somewhere else. So that is what a turn is, and I'm sorry if I did not explain that very well because these dogs are really distracting me right now. So we're gonna see if we can get through this. Okay, number 2. What's it say, Silent? This is the princess position is what this said. So we will refer to basically our positions that don't have any pre-flight like setting up to do. We refer to them as the princess position. So on our narrow bodies, that's going to be positions 3 and 4. Because the 1 has to set up the forward galley and get everything ready for first class, whether that's checking meals, breaking ice, it could be all kinds of things up there that you got to get ready. And then you're also doing a lot of work in flight, and then the position 2 galley queen, we talked about that in a different video, you know, they have to set up the back galley, but the 3 and 4, they can assist if they want to do that, but it's the princess position because all they do is check their safety equipment and then they're done until boarding. So between 3 and 4, 4 is more of a princess position because the 3 does have to, or is supposed to, stand up and greet passengers coming on board with the 1, so they do a little bit of work. I mean, the 4 is supposed to be out in the cabin helping with bags and stuff during boarding, but depending on the aircraft, sometimes they're just in the back because there's really, like on our 737s, there's nowhere for the position 4 to stand anywhere in the cabin. Like, you can go to a row and then kind of bounce back, but it just gets to be a lot of work. So a lot of times the 4 will just be hanging out in the back until it's time to start closing bins, or if they see an issue, they'll go out and do something. On our Airbus, it's a little bit easier. They can stand where like the doors are because there's a bigger gap and it's not in the way. This is not a treat, it's paper. And then on our wide bodies, princess position, I don't fly them enough to really know, but I'm assuming it would be like the 8 and 9 for sure. Even though I think one of those has to set up the bunk room, like the sleep room. So I'm not going to be very helpful with that because I just don't fly on the wide body enough, and I don't know international enough to be able to know stuff about those positions. But yeah, if you ever hear me say princess position, that just means the 3 or the 4, because that's probably what I'm going to be flying. And it's just that they don't have a whole ton of pre-flight duties that they have to do, so they just show up to work, do their safety checks, and that's it. Also, the 3 and 4 is going to be when there's 2 people on a cart. That's who it is on your narrow bodies, is the 3 and 4. Usually the 3 is on the front end, and then the 4 is on the other end. So usually the 3 is the one walking backwards and the 4 is the one pushing. Sometimes they swap places. Like when I'm one of those positions, I don't have to be on my particular side of the cart. I can do whatever. But yeah, that is princess position. I think he's like kicked on my I've been trying to hold on my papers because Sally keeps walking on them and kicking them everywhere. You're kind of messing me up here. You are. You're not being very helpful right now. Okay, a pink eye. So this is not a fun trip to work. I personally do not love them because I am not the best at taking naps when I got a good night of sleep. So a pink eye is when you take a flight to the West Coast, or like somewhere over on the west side of the country in the morning. So you would leave at like 8, 9, 10 in the morning and go to LA, Phoenix, Vegas, I don't know, somewhere over there. And with the time change, you know, you're going, they're 3 hours behind us. So you get there kind of early, you have a 12-hour day layover, and then you do the red eye back home, which again, we talked about red eye in another video, but just for the sake of this one, a red eye is an all-nighter flight from the West Coast to the East Coast. You leave the West Coast late, like 10, 11, and then you end up getting back into the East Coast because of the time change at like 5 or 6, 7 in the morning. So it's a really rough trip if you don't sleep during the day because it's just a lot. So I typically try to stay away from those. So again, if you're doing your long flight over to the West, you have a 12-hour usually day layover at a hotel, and then you take the red eye back. So those are rough. I have only done like maybe 1 or 2 of those, and yeah, it's been not good when we got back to the East Coast because I didn't sleep, and then I'm tired because I just did a red eye, and then I have to drive home. So they're not very fun for me. But yeah, that's what a pink eye is. Okay, number 4. Oh, we have a deadhead. So if you just watch my other Vlogmas, I explained this already in my last video when I did trips. I had 2 deadheads, but basically a deadhead is when we are getting paid to fly as a passenger on a flight. So we're not actually working the flight at all. We don't have any pre-flight duties. We have nothing that we do to the flight. We literally just show up, sit down, and go to wherever it is that the flight is going. Typically they will do a deadhead if they need you to get to the airport to then work a flight out of there. Or a lot of times, especially in Charlotte, what will happen is a crew gets stuck somewhere because of weather, or their flight is just too late coming in. They're not going to be able to work their flight going out of Charlotte. Or if they do, it's just going to be delayed a lot. If they have the reserves to be able to recrew it, a lot of times they'll just recrew it. They put the crew to work that flight and then just deadhead them back to base, because they only needed them for that one flight. So typically a deadhead, they either need you to work the flight to a certain airport, or they need to get you to an airport to work a certain flight out of that airport. So that is why we still get paid for it, because we were needed at some point to actually work. Now there have been times when I went to go, I did a deadhead to, this happened to me. Was supposed to do a San Diego turn out of Charlotte, but we were just gonna deadhead to San Diego and then work the flight back. So we did the deadhead, get in San Diego, and our plane has maintenance and ended up canceling. So we ended up deadheading back to Charlotte. So there are rare times when your whole trip will literally just be deadheads, and you get paid for it because they did need you to work at some point. It just didn't work. But yeah, so there are rare times where your whole trip is a deadhead, but most of the time it's because they needed you to work a different flight. Let's see. You guys you're really distracting me. Why can't you just sit for a second? Can you just sit for a minute? Because you're really distracting me. All right, this will be our last one. Oh, okay, a rocket. So this is very similar to an ODAN, which, remember, ODAN is on duty all night. But they're way worse, like 10 times worse. Hang on, my dad's calling me. Okay, back to what I was saying. So yeah, a rocket is like an ODAN, but yeah, definitely way worse, because you'll leave at like 6, 7 at night, and you go, so the only one I've ever done is to Phoenix. So I think we left at like 7:45, and we did a flight to Phoenix. So you get into Phoenix around 9 o'clock, and then you sit there for 2 hours and you do the red eye back home. So it's an all-nighter trip, but unlike an ODAN, you don't have any time on the ground. You have like 2 hours, so they don't get you a hotel room. So whereas an ODAN, I can usually get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep in between. A rocket, no, you don't get any sleep, because we can't sleep in the airport unless we're at an airport that has like a crew sleep room. So like Phoenix, they would have their crew rooms, but honestly, by the time you land into plane, you have, I think, an hour in between your flights before you have to go. Silo, he's about to knock this over. Before you go back, so that's not even enough time to, like, by the time you get to the crew room and lay down, you're gonna get like 30 minutes, and that's probably worse than just staying up. So yeah, rockets are not fun. So if you ever hear me saying I'm having to work a rocket, first thing you need to do is pray for me, because I'm gonna be dying. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You do a flight over to the west, you sit for a couple hours, do the red eye back. It is rough. But yeah, that is part 3 for flight attendant lingo. I only have 4 more words left to explain to you guys, so there will probably only be one more of these little videos in this little series. Sorry, I was kind of distracted. You were just distracting me this whole time. Yes, you were. Hopefully, you guys learned something out of that, because my mind is so like frazzled right now. But yes, that is all for today's Vlogmas. Hopefully I can get a Christmas tree and do the destination tree because I think that would be fun and different. But we'll see about that. As always, any questions, comments, whatever, put them in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next Vlogmas. Bye!